Coming off that tough loss the other night, where's this group at mentally heading into this showdown with LAFC?
In a good place, in a good spot. I mean, that's life, and that's this sport. You know, you need to just turn the page, take the positives, learn from the from the mistakes you did, and yeah, wake up, be grateful, enjoy your life, and try to do the best as you can. And I think that's the mindset, that's the mentality that we have. The past, we cannot change it. It is what it is, and of course, like I tell you, we need to maintain the things that we're doing pretty well, and then learn from the mistakes that we have done in the past, and yeah, just keep going. And we have a beautiful game on Sunday, and a great scenario, great weekend. So hopefully we can get the 3 points here in our home in that derby.
Was there anything you guys did? The first half, you guys were pretty much all over them. The first half, anything you guys talked about beforehand that sort of the group seemed more lively that first half the other night?
I mean, the first and the second. I mean, we dominate them. They got the 3 points. Like they deserved it because they got them. But we just fully dominate them. Like we did in 70 minutes in Austin too. It's just like, and I said it after. Of course, we want the results, and soccer is about that. But I think the foundation that we are creating right now before the playoffs, that we are still fighting to get our spot over there, I think it's amazing, because if you don't have the foundation, sometimes, yeah, you can win games, but then in playoffs, that isn't going to make you solid, you know. So I mean, I think we're doing pretty good. There's a lot more positive in those games, regardless the results, because we didn't get any point in the last two games on the road. But I mean, I think we feel that we did so many good things that we're going to maintain trying to do that, and of course improve the mistakes that we've done.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Damien. We'll go with Josh Gessman. Josh, go ahead.
Hey, Javi, thanks for taking the time. I think this is going to be your first El Trafico at home with the capacity crowd, right? Full capacity, it's going to be absolutely packed.
I mean, I felt it the last one. Sorry to interrupt you, but the last one I understand. It wasn't the full one, but it was with my crowd. I scored, we won. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but for me, and these type of games is like it doesn't matter if it's the first, the second, the whatever. It's a derby, man. It's a Trafico. You know, it doesn't matter how these two teams are coming. Sorry, you can finish now the question, but I wanted just to say that like in these type of games, you don't need to put a special ingredient on it. You know, you don't need to. These type of games are like, they are what they are. That's why they're Trafico, they're derbies, and obviously if you don't get motivated in those type of games, I don't know what you're doing in this sport and in this job, obviously.
No. I think that's a good point. I would just try to maybe say you played those in an empty stadium before. They have, obviously there's an intensity to it. Obviously you guys still have to play the game there. You get with fans in, and now you're going to get, I'm going to call it the full experience, all right?
Yeah.
Because I've seen it, and I understand. So you're getting a full experience. I mean, are the guys looking forward to that? Are you looking forward to that?
Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, I repeat a lot this type of comments and ideas that I have in my mind, that is like, yeah, you need to look forward every single time, you know, and this lovely sport give you a chance of like redeem yourself if the results are not pretty well, like right now, the run that we had that we couldn't win in a lot of games, we haven't, sorry, and as well when you're doing pretty well the things to maintain that. So it's like in the pitch sometimes, and when I miss a chance, when I score a chance, and when you play this sport, it's like the most important play is the one about to come, you know, the one that it's coming. So yeah, this game, obviously, that is a Trafico. It's a very good way for both of the teams, whoever is going to win, to redeem themselves. Because yeah, we're in a pretty bad run. LA Galaxy and then LAFC fighting for a spot, but as well probably in the edge on not getting the chances to get over there. And then of course, the Trafico is the Trafico, the derby is the derby. So I mean, it's always amazing that we can do what we love most. You know, I was injured 2 months and I was very frustrated. Now I'm very grateful. Last year with the COVID stuff, how you mentioned, not only the Trafico games without crowd, the bubble, how everything changed. I mean, yeah, you pretty well know me, and sometimes I repeat some phrases, some answers, because that's the way that I feel. That's the way that I like to live, like in the present moment. Of course, like I said it, learning a lot from my mistakes so I can improve and show a better version of myself, and as well the things that we're doing pretty well, just maintain them. So yeah, it's gonna be a great weekend, and hopefully, and I think with the 3 points with us.
Thanks, Javi. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Josh, we'll go with Kevin Baxter from the LA Times. Kevin, go ahead.
Hey, Javier. Thanks for your time.
You're welcome.
You look good. You look like you're happy.
I mean, of course, and I don't want to sound very imprudent and stuff. Of course, the run is like that, but life is life. I'm healthy. My kids are healthy. The people that I love are healthy. I'm doing what I love most, that is playing soccer with the best organization in MLS, the biggest club in this country, fighting for a spot in the playoffs, preparing myself to play a derby. So, I mean, what else should I ask? You know, like, if I'm not happy, I will be so irresponsible. I mean, I'm so grateful. I'm alive, man. I have an opportunity to wake up, to do what I love most, to keep creating the life that I want to create, to take decisions, to be here, to speak with you guys. I mean, it's like, what else? You know, like, I'm just grateful.
Well, except for maybe the speaking with us guys part. Maybe that's not your favorite thing to do.
You are right. You are right. But you know what? Sometimes I like it. You know, sometimes that's why I go through. Because when I grew up, sorry to share this, when I grew up, a lot of friends or a lot of people asked me, why do you answer the same things? And I said, because they ask me the same things, you know? So now sometimes I go over and I could say things that probably you don't ask. So at least I have fun saying what I want to say, you know, in a way. You know, because the questions I could do it in 5 minutes, guys, with you. And it's like, we're going to play an amazing game. It's a Trafico. Of course, we want to win. Of course, we're disappointed because we lost last game. I want to keep like giving my best and goodbye, you know. So yeah, I always try to manage the way of every moment, even the ones that I don't love most, because of course if you give me to compare, if I want to speak with you guys, if I want to play games, obviously I want to choose playing games. So yeah, I'm just trying to enjoy, and obviously I know the responsibility that being this chair with this shield behind, being the striker, all the confidence that the people are putting in myself, I know that, and I love that, because it's amazing. It's being in the spot, and I want to deliver as good as I can, and I'll be the first one that says if I didn't do it, I didn't do it. And when I'm doing it pretty well, I felt it, and sometimes I said it. So, yeah, I'm happy. Yeah.
Well, hopefully this question will be one that you haven't been asked before. But obviously the team's struggling. But you played for some of the biggest teams in the world, Chivas, Manchester United. You played at Real Madrid.
Yep.
Now, as you mentioned, the Galaxy, the biggest club in MLS. All those clubs have a tradition and a history. And when you're going through a tough time like this, does that make a difference? Do you think, hey, wait a minute, you know, we haven't won in 8 games, but we're the Galaxy. You know, we can overcome this. We're going to reach back to our history. You weren't here for the history, I know that. But the club has that tradition. Does that help, or does that just get washed away when the game starts?
In my life, in my mindset, of course it helps, because it's a fact that allows me to motivate me more, to compromise myself, to want to give even more. You know, sometimes I said it to my teammates that, I mean, look, if you want to put it like this, I told them in the locker room after this game that we need to accept our luck. And this is the luck of top teams has, because imagine in 180 minutes, we play most of them like dominant, with more possession, with more chances, don't allow them to have chances to the opposite teams. Like, we were completely dominant, you know, and then it wasn't enough. So I told them, like, that's the luck, those are the facts that sometimes we need to accept being in this institution. Because, of course, you don't know that every club that plays against LA Galaxy, they motivate a little bit more because they want to beat LA Galaxy. Even though they could be out of playoffs or whatever, they like to beat LA Galaxy. So, of course, it's a fact or an argument or something that brings me more passion, more responsibility, and more desire to deliver good performances, you know, in my point of view. So I say that sometimes to my teammates, not to make pressure, not to show off, not to feel that you already made it. It's completely the opposite. It's like, the standards over here with these type of clubs and the clubs that you mentioned sometimes is like you have everything to lose and nothing to win, because normally when you win, that's a normal stuff for the history, but when you lose, that's the parts that people are not used to it. So it's completely the opposite, you know? So that's a nice responsibility. For me, that's why the word responsibility is amazing, because it's on me. It depends on me. It's mine. I like it. I prefer to be in the spot and with a humbleness of accepting that when I do mistakes, I do mistakes. I'm human, and in sports, you're gonna do mistakes. The thing is not doing as much mistakes as you can, and of course, just be as an effective as you can, like Austin and Real Salt Lake were, and we weren't, you know. So I mean, of course, yeah, it's a very nice ingredient, and it's a very nice responsibility. And it's a very nice opportunity that this organization trusts not only in myself, in every teammate, every worker, every people that is working for this organization, that they give us the chance to represent this club.
Thank you. Don't worry, be happy.
No, I'm not at all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Ahora cambiaremos a las preguntas en español. Empezamos, Javi, con una que viene de Enrique Gutiérrez, que me la mandó por mensaje.
Okay.
Este fin de semana estaremos celebrando a Landon Donovan con una estatua. El club estará presentando una estatua. Javi, si podrías hablarnos sobre el legado de Landon, tanto en Galaxy como en el fútbol en general.
Híjole, creo que las palabras... híjole, no sé, es que hay palabras para una carrera como un jugador como lo fue él para este país, para esta liga, para el mundo. También es un jugador muy conocido, la verdad, un jugador que se merece eso y más, y ojalá también nosotros le podamos dar ese homenaje con los 3 puntos también, con la victoria el domingo. Pero créeme que Landon Donovan, tú me lo mencionas en este país y todo el mundo lo sabe, ¿no? También sabe su nombre, sabe la carrera tan magnífica que tuvo también, más allá que no jugó mucho en Europa, pero también cuando jugó en Everton y tuvo sus préstamos, y más allá en la selección, en las Copas Confederaciones, las Copas del Mundo, y la verdad que era un jugador que obviamente no nos gustaba enfrentar como mexicanos. Yo en ese momento no jugué mucho en contra de él, pero cuando era aficionado y cuando era un niño, sabiendo que íbamos a jugar contra Estados Unidos y Landon Donovan estaba ahí, pues era muy difícil. Bueno, también en el Mundial del 2002, Estados Unidos nos sacó en los octavos de final, ¿no? Entonces, es un jugador que también, algo que yo le admiré muchísimo, que siempre fue auténtico, nunca se traicionó, siempre fue él. Cuando quiso hablar en español en unas entrevistas lo hizo, cuando quiso declarar lo que quiso declarar en su momento que pudo haber sonado controversial, lo hizo, siempre se expresaba de la manera en que de verdad se sentía. Fue muy auténtico para mí, entonces es algo que le admiré muchísimo, y claro, dentro del campo también se le veía eso, ¿no? Con ese talento, con esa velocidad, con esa explosividad y también con esa inteligencia en el fútbol, que siempre lo mostró. Creo que es algo que todos los jugadores debemos de admirarle.
Gracias, Javi. Iremos ahora con Dani de Oso de Yahoo. Dani, adelante.
Hola, Javier.
Hola.
Tengo dos rapiditas. Primero, obviamente estaba fuera de cancha que 2 meses. Quería saber cómo se siente usted en lo física, en lo personal. ¿Se siente bien? ¿Se siente al 100?
Sí, bien.
¿Cómo está progresando ahí?
Sí, muy bien. La verdad que volví, jugué 60 minutos contra Colorado, después 90 contra Houston, después entré 30 contra Minnesota, y luego jugué 90 a Austin, y ahorita casi 90, otros 80, 85 minutos. Así que la verdad que bien, me siento muy bien.
Excelente. Y usted ya habló un poco en inglés de la importancia del clásico, obviamente, pero teniendo un clásico en este momento, sabiendo los dos equipos cómo están y tan tarde en la temporada, que puede tener obviamente un impacto en lo que sigue en octubre con la pelea para los playoffs, ¿les da a ustedes un poquito de confianza tener este partido en casa, sabiendo que ellos en la historia del clásico no han ganado allá en casa?
A ver, siempre soy de la idea que cuando alguien trae a la mesa ese tipo de estadísticas, como que nunca siempre pasa la primera vez. Así que para mí da igual si nunca han ganado acá, para mí da igual si ellos vienen de una mala racha, también nos da un poquito igual a nosotros si venimos de una mala racha. Un clásico es un clásico. Este tipo de partidos, como lo dije en inglés, no necesitas ponerle más ingredientes para motivarte, para tomarlo con la seriedad, con la responsabilidad y también con la motivación necesaria. Así que lo único que tenemos en nuestra mente es que en estos últimos 2 partidos que jugamos de visita, sacar todo lo bueno que hicimos para poderlo mantener, y luego también también lo negativo, aprender de ello para que no lo repitamos contra el LAFC en un partido que obviamente va a ser muy bonito y muy lindo, como todos los partidos en el Tráfico desde que se empezaron a dar, desde que la franquicia del LAFC surgió, ¿no? Entonces, todos estamos contentos, motivados y con muchísimas ganas el domingo de darlo todo nuevamente y poder sacar los 3 puntos delante de nuestra gente, obviamente.
Gracias, David. Suerte.
De nada, gracias.
Vamos con Mónica Delgado. Mónica, adelante.
Hola Javier, la situación que ahora vive LA Galaxy no es la que desean. Se viene un partido con mucha importancia dentro de la Major League Soccer y para Los Ángeles. ¿Cómo llega el club y qué tan importante será anímicamente conseguir una victoria, Javi?
Pues como lo respondí, Mónica, las respuestas pasadas, y perdón que lo sea muy corto, pero tenemos que ser positivos, tenemos que sacarle lo mejor a lo que venimos haciendo, aprender de los errores y de las cosas en las cuales no estamos muy orgullosos y que no queremos volver a repetir, y que es un fin de semana muy lindo el poder tratar de revertir esta situación con un Tráfico.
This is something I talked to Javier about a little bit, but we've spoken a lot about it earlier this year. The foundation, the tradition, the culture of this team is unlike any in MLS, and you know that because you helped build it. But I'm wondering now, when a team is scuffling a little bit, does that foundation and culture give you something to reach back to? Something that maybe an LAFC, which is only 4 years old, for all its success, doesn't have the deep tradition that you guys have. Is that something that helps, or is it something that disappears once the ball's kicked off?
Yeah, I don't know how much of a factor it plays into the moment. I mean, I think it helps us when players choose to come to the Galaxy, and it helps us as the team sets its goals and ambitions and, the expectations. It creates all of that. But I think ultimately this group, this team, and our strengths and our deficiencies and all those things, and ultimately will determine kind of where we are in the moment and how we continue to write this group's addition to that history, if you will. But I don't know if, obviously, being in our stadium, being in front of our fans is a big deal. Those are the things that really, I think, help us and push us on. I'm not sure if the legacy of the past can help us on Saturday or Sunday, but it is certainly something that has helped brought us all together again and gives us, helps to push our ambitions to get to the top of this league again and be up there. So obviously we have work to do, and we all knew that signing up at the beginning of this year that we have work to do to try to get this club back to the top, and it wasn't going to happen overnight, and we're going to have to go through our stresses and difficult times to grow together as a group to get to where we need to get to. So I think that's where we are. Proud of our history, but we've got to set our own history now and answer the bell that when it rings for us.
Thanks a lot. Good luck.
Thank you.
We'll go with Damien next.
Hey, Greg.
Hey, Damien.
With you guys in this run here, how important is it to have a player like Javier? I mean, he just sat here and talked to us like 25 minutes here. He seems to be in a good mood. How does that sort of, trickle down to the other guys in the locker room?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously Javier he's an excellent player. He's got a great personality. He's in a positive way in terms of even his play, his health right now. Since he's come back from being an injury, was able to get a goal in this last match, which for goal scorers is always a positive thing. But always, he's obviously playing for results just like the rest of us. So I'm sure he'd take a result over the goal any single day. But also playing for results. But he also knows, on the back of the performance, the last 2 performances, there's a lot of positive signs there for us that some things are coming together in the right way. Now we need to execute. There's a number of things that I've challenged through this group over the course of the year and even in the last few weeks. And some of those positive moments really came out in the last game, as I said to them. Early in the season, we had won games on the heels of character, but we didn't perform very well. We had won and lost games on that side, and we always knew that by this time of the year we were going to have to perform better. It's that time of the year where you've got to play better. So I thought the other night we played better. We had 2 or 3 letdowns, of which they scored 2 goals, and we didn't take, the right percentage of chances and put them in the back of the net that we had. We got to be more efficient in front of the goal. So But in this past game, we had more control in the attacking half of the field. We won more balls in transition recovery. We were able to start some transitions that were actually created some dangerous moments for us. There was a lot of things that I felt we did in this game that we hadn't been doing in games earlier in the year that are positive signs. And we have to try to back that performance up with another performance and then see it out for 90 minutes and get the result that we probably deserve. But that's football. We gave it up on that. We gave up. Even if we'd have drawn the last game and come into this game, I think we would have felt a lot different just in terms of just the overall performance. And it's crazy that one play in the last 20 or 30 seconds of the game can change that completely in a way, just from an emotional perspective. So I think we're trying to ground ourselves for sure, and all the positives I think that happened on this road trip, and emotionally shift away from the negatives, which were the results, and build off of our performances.
And what's Jorge's status? I know he suffered hyperextended knee against Austin. What's his status for Sunday and going forward?
It's a similar injury to the last one he had, or it's a hyperextension, and then hyperextension, the bones clatter together, if you will, and then there's a bone bruise that's left as a result of that. So he has a bone bruise. I don't know exactly where he is at today. I don't know if he'll be able to turn around for this weekend or not. I know he was pretty sore coming out of the game and pretty sore still yesterday, but I don't know if there's anything that they can do to help him prepare for Saturday. So he's questionable at best right now.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
We'll go with Scott French next, so go ahead.
Oh, you jumped on me just a little fast there. I was writing you another note. Greg, you guys did have a much better performance this past week. I'm just wondering how you balance that with the results still not yet heading north.
Yeah, that's an interesting trick because of the time of year and the emotions that come with results at this time of year. If these performances happened in the first 5 games or 6 games of the season and we were on the road, we would take a lot of positives out of these things and know that we're building towards a bigger picture in a season. But right now, sometimes it's just about the result, and it doesn't matter how you get the result. But having said that, we're trying to stay focused on the fact that we're trying to find the best form and our best version of us here down the stretch, and I thought we were a lot closer. I thought it was the most complete 90-minute game that we've played this year, without the result on the end of it being what we wanted it to be. But I thought there were very few stretches in Salt Lake, which is a very difficult place to play, where Salt Lake actually had control of the game. It was really in our hands for much of the game, and so we look at the positive things and the things that we need to duplicate, and as we come back to another tough match at home against a good team, LAFC, who's also has an emotional position with their results, but we have to take the positives and the things that we did well and try to duplicate those and finish our chances when we get them, and see halves out when they're getting close to the end of halves, things like that. So. But you can't always control the results in the game. There's been many games in the world of soccer that have not finished unjustly because of a last play or something, and we need to keep moving on from that and get to the next game and fight for 3 points. 3 points right now would change a lot of energy just based off of our performances. It would just give us another boost. So we're gonna fight for that again every game.
Within that prism, the mistakes in the Real Salt Lake game are mistakes that we've seen pretty often this season. So when you're looking at that, and I know you're trying to avoid these things, you've been trying to fix these things and move forward from it, it always seems that they kind of pull you back a little bit.
Well, yeah, it's one of the challenges. I mean, all teams make some mistakes, and it's a question whether you get punished for making your mistakes or not. We didn't make a ton of mistakes the other night, we made far less mistakes, I think, than we've made in many, many games over the course of this season. We got punished for the mistakes that we made at really bad times of the game. One at the very end of the first half, where we short a clearance, and then we've got to defend the cross better so that it doesn't come in, and then we got to defend the front of the goal. So yes, we've talked about that. And yes, we have to do better. And I've talked individually with guys about what they need to be paying attention to and what they need to be thinking about. And then the second goal for me is it comes at an interesting moment because we had 4 really good, kind of 3 to 4 really good sort of opportunities in their box to maybe even win the game. So the emotion of the group is we can win this thing, and you can tell that the momentum that everybody is feeling is kind of this forward momentum to go win the game. Then the ball goes out for a throw-in, and our momentum is still leaning very forward instead of maybe, okay, in that moment we need to just protect ourselves and get the ball back, and then we can go forward again. And I felt like we were a little stretched out. The throw went forward in between us, and it kind of bounced back and forth a couple times, and then it lands on their foot and one ball in behind our back, and we get ourselves in a difficult situation. He scores a great goal. There are ways that we can prevent them from getting to that point, and I think these things kind of happen in the game. We as a group just collectively have to try to recognize and see that moment out better and protect ourselves as. But again, I don't super fault the group because we had so much momentum going towards possibly winning the game. We had all of the chances down the stretch, and the group was on the front foot. And again, a play bites us in the butt. And we don't deal with it. We have a couple chances to deal with it. So disappointing, but that's the game.
And lastly, do you feel confident that the momentum from the performance is going to outweigh the close of the game and the disappointment as you try to push forward?
Yeah, I think I thought we built some momentum off the Austin, at least 63 minutes of Austin, where I thought again we dominated that game and got undone kind of against the run of play. I thought we built on that the next game and put together another solid performance, if you will, without getting the result. So I think, on the heels of, I think, two consecutive games where we had the right intensity, the right intentions, we were creating far more chances than the opposition. Yes, we didn't get the goals to give us the goal to give us kind of that lead and maybe some of that momentum that we wanted. I think the group is fit to bounce back again and put out another good performance and good effort. At the end of the day, before the game starts, I can't tell you if we're going to win, lose, or draw. I can't tell you that. Nobody can tell you that. What you control is go out and put out your best performance, set your team in a way that they believe that they can go win. They got to go out and put in their best effort and best shift, and then we've got to make some plays. We got to make more plays than the opposition in the boxes, but nobody can predict the win or before a game starts. But I think our group feels confident in their performances and that they're ready to go out and put on another performance this weekend. And now we just got to execute so that we can shift the results.
Wonderful. Thank you, Greg.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Scott. We'll go with Josh.
Hey, Greg. I wanted to follow up a little bit on Damien's question. Derek Williams and his injury update first.
Yeah, Derek trained today with the group. So again, we'll see how he feels going into tomorrow. Train again, and then we'll see how he feels going into the weekend to determine his availability. But he did train with the group today.
All right. You talked about after the RSL game. You talked about the locker room and the energy change that you felt within the group. I wonder if maybe you could explain what that means to you, or what that points to for you specifically when you see this type of or feel this type of change from a group.
Yeah, for me, and it's something we've been talking about as a group, that our team has to get to a point where we've set a standard of our performance and what is expected, and then everybody is held accountable for that standard of performance. Old guys, young guys, every guy in between, and it's done in the locker room. It's done a lot through veteran players. It's done through, obviously, the support of the coach and the veteran players, and then everybody is meeting that standard on a daily basis. And I felt like our group and guys on our team that have been seeking kind of their form over the course of the season, their health, their various things, trying to get themselves to the right level. I felt like they performed well, and they did. I felt like they then were in the locker room and holding the locker room in a positive way, in the right way, accountable for the good things and the bad things that happen. And I felt like this was that's when for me, the culture of a group and the mentality and expectation to win and the standard to perform and win is sunk in. And I think that I can't even explain it unless you've really been in locker rooms before, especially locker rooms that have won championships. And the standard is held a lot of times within that leadership group within the team. And then the younger players and the other players who are trying to find that level then are always scratching and clawing to get to that level of expectation of those senior players and supported by the coach, and established and set by the coach. And I felt like at the end of that game, and it was very clear and evident, and for me it was a big moment that was very different than any other moment we've had after any game, win, lose, or draw after any game, where there was a very clear standard, and if anyone didn't meet it, they were the team was holding him accountable, but also in a very positive way. And I can't always explain it in the best terms unless you've been in the locker rooms. And it was just, the group felt good about how they played. They were really pissed and disappointed and hurt, and as they should be, about the outcome. But you could tell there was a confidence and belief in the performance side of it and what they did. And if you put those performances out and you just execute on some of the moments that you have, you're going to win far more games than you lose over the course of a season. And that's what you have to believe in when you put on the jersey and you go. You know who you are, and you play at the standard that is expected individually and collectively. And if you do that, then the question is, do you execute in the box more than the opposition executes in the other box? And then you win games, and you get to win games. And you can create a greater margin of victory by doing more good things than the opposition over the course of time. You can do more good by having more good players than the opposition. You might be able to create some sort of a gap for a margin of error, if you will. And I thought our group really found its voice and standards in the locker room for one of the first times, if not the first time this year, really as a group, and I appreciated that, because I know it was a devastating way to finish the game, but I thought the way they came in was 100% right.
All right, thanks, Greg.
Mm-hmm.
We'll close it off with Enrique Gutierrez. Enrique, go ahead.
Thank you, Vicky. Hi, Greg. Thank you for your time. Well, as you know, this weekend is kind of like Landon Donovan weekend, with him coming back coaching San Diego against the Los Angeles Galaxy 2. And then on Sunday, of course, the big event with the statue and also the Ring of Honor celebration. So I think we all know what Landon has done here in Los Angeles and for U.S. soccer in general. But I'd like to get your take on how to put it in words, what he's done, what he's meant to the Galaxy and to the U.S. soccer in general as a whole.
Yeah, I think obviously Landon is, first and foremost, he's an exceptional player. I mean, he has been at multiple clubs that have won. Obviously, he went to San Jose and he helped turn that team into a winning team and a winning franchise, came to LA, was able to do the same thing. I think he's got an incredible intensity and desire to compete and to win. I think he was smart, and my time playing with him here in LA was probably one of the worst seasons that the Galaxy had at that time in 2008, and it was he and David and the two of them notoriously didn't know how to win together yet, and so both of them, and I'll give Landon a lot of credit too, they both figured out, whether they like each other or don't like each other, that they needed each other to win games. And so he's smart enough to understand how to win, and that doesn't always mean you have to be best friends with somebody. That means you have to find the best in each other, and you have to give everything to a cause much bigger and greater than yourself, and he obviously was able to do that to the tune of more championships. And so he's an incredible player, obviously. I think his desire to want to score goals, to threaten the space behind, to runs, the cleverness and the timing of his runs were all things in our league that were pretty exceptional in his time. I mean, even when we looked for players to add to our team, I was looking for a player who gave those kinds of runs for our group, who was goal oriented, who wanted to break the lines, who wanted to run through into the depth and put oppositions in these difficult situations. Landon always did that, and so he's always so difficult to play against. So he's obviously that, and obviously as on the other side is with the national team, he did the same things, helped the team become more successful, and he's always been an ambassador for the sport and for kids in the sport and the game, and someone who's always brought, I think, the right energy and the right vibe to the game, and always been a proponent of the game and for the youth and just in general. So obviously a great human being, but for me, he stood apart as his ability to win and to impact a group and find the way to work with a group to get results.
Is it okay for Galaxy fans to root for him this Saturday as he's coaching against Los Dos?
You can root for him, but that doesn't mean his team has to win, you know? You can separate the player and the team. That sometimes can happen. So.
Thank you.
All right. Take care, everybody.